Hey guys, Math 1500. This is the online section, fall 2015. This is an extremely important video. I know I hear many times that students say you don't need to go to class the first day because all he or she is going to do is just your professor, instructor, is cover the syllabus. But it's extremely important in an online class that we understand the way things are going to be done, how you access videos, and just a lot of things to cover. I mean, I typically don't go into a syllabus in this much detail, but again, because of the nature of the course, I think it's extremely important. First of all, welcome to the class. This is really cool. It's really exciting that you get to pretty much come to class when you want to, within reason, of course. I want you watching the videos in the week that they are posted, but you have complete flexibility. If you want to watch at 3 a.m. and or 10 o'clock in the morning, whenever you want to watch, it gives you the flexibility to watch the lectures. So I came up with the idea of presenting some of the courses online a few winters ago when we had such bad weather, and I didn't want students to get behind, so I would sit here at home, and I would upload lectures just like I would, say the same thing I would have said if it would have been in the class. And some students resisted, and they just wouldn't take the time out of their busy schedule. Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and all these things that go on. They just wouldn't take the time out of their schedule to watch the videos. Well, it didn't work for them. But about 3/4 of my students who did take the time to click the link and watch my YouTube videos, they found out that it was sometimes advantageous and even better than being in a classroom, because if there's something you don't understand, you have the potential, the ability to stop me, rewind me, replay, and that's really helpful with some of the calculator stuff, because the calculator keys, the strokes that you make on the calculator sequence keys. Sometimes that gets kind of crazy, and sometimes in a class I go too fast. And some students feel very comfortable raising their hand saying, Dr. Darby, slow down. But some students are shyer and they don't feel as comfortable with that. So this gives you the option of kind of controlling the lecture. You can stop, pause, rewind, watch multiple times if you want. Now, I think the very first thing that, I think it's my job to be completely honest with you here. I'm always going to be honest with you, but sometimes I'm not as forthcoming. Should you take an online course? Some of you sitting there, I'm going to tell you what, you don't need to be in here. It takes a certain element of learning independently. It takes a certain element of being, a very strong element actually, of being self-disciplined, being able to set a schedule and stick to it. Because what happens throughout the week, you're going to have about 2.5, sometimes 3 hours of videos, of lectures that you're required to watch. I'm not going to be at your house. I'm not going to know if you're watching them or not, whereas in a traditional classroom, I'm going to know whether or not you come to class. And I'm going to know whether or not I'm connecting with you and I'm making, providing a lecture. I don't know that here. So it's easy to hide, I guess is my point. And if you're someone that easily comes up with a lot of excuses and reasons not to do things, you're a gigantic procrastinator, you put things off, then the online section probably isn't for you. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'll be, again, very forthcoming here. I couldn't have done an online class my first couple of years in undergraduate. I wasn't self-disciplined enough. I wasn't. I was partying. I was having fun. I was doing cool stuff. I couldn't have done it. So guys, a lot of people say, well, an online course is easier. It's not easier at all. It's not harder either. It's the same lectures I would have given if you and I were face-to-face in a classroom. I'm going to tell the same corny jokes, the same stupid stories, the same things that I would, because I've taught this class over 100 times, which is kind of crazy. But I will tell the same things, but there's just more of a monitoring when it's delivered in the classroom. So, guys, you really today this is something you need to do. Is you need to do an honest self-assessment. Am I really able to take an online course? And there's nothing wrong with saying no. It beats the heck out of me coming up in December and having to give you an F because you signed up for something that you weren't capable of doing right now. And again, I couldn't have done it my first couple of years in undergrad. But anyway, if you decide to stick around, let's go through some stuff. Okay, let's get this started. My name's Doug Darbro. I've been teaching at Shawnee State University now for 21 years. Yeah, I told you earlier, I've taught Math 1500 over 100 times, which is just bizarre. Now that includes some STEM project grants that I did, and all kinds of multiple things. But it's it is what it is. I've taught the class a lot of times. Office hours, guys, I would pretty much ignore these office hours. This is something I have to do just to keep the administration happy. We are required contractually to provide 4 office hours per week. In a typical week, I will probably provide 12 to 15 hours. So I go so far above and beyond my what the administration expects of us for office hours because but those are times that I'll be available via Google Hangout on campus. I'll be on campus almost every Tuesday and Wednesday. So let's say you get off work at 5 o'clock, and by the time you get home, it's 6, and you'd like a little bit of time to unwind. And 6:30, you think that'd be a great time to meet with Darbro and see there's something in the video I didn't quite understand. Can you meet me at 6:30? Well, maybe I'll be on campus that day. If so, you can possibly come to campus, or maybe I'm going to be home and we'll set up a Google Hangout session. So, we got all kinds of flexibility. But guys, one thing you've got to become, you got to be sort of internet and computer savvy to take an online course. I just got. I scuba dive. I love to scuba dive, and I'm not a great swimmer. And I remember. When I got my first certification level, I told the lady, I said, I'm not that great of a swimmer. And she said, so you want to scuba dive and you can't swim? And it actually turns out that there's not as big a connection. But anyway, I will kind of look at you the way she looked at me with a confusing look. You want to take an online course, but you're not that computer savvy? Guys, it's because of the computer and the internet service, the reason we can do this. So. Remind 101, this is a kind of a cool program. You can join this. It's a texting program. I learned it from my daughter. I have 2 11-year-old daughters. And when they were, I think, in the 3rd or 4th grade, their teacher had us sign up for this. It's kind of cool because it's anonymous. You sign up for it. I see your name, but I don't know your phone number. And it wouldn't matter if I did because I'm not going to call you. But it's a way that I can just send out a text and say, hey, your assignment's due. Don't forget it. Hey, we've got an exam coming up in a couple of weeks. So I can just send out kind of gentle, friendly reminders to your phone with this kind of mass texting program. So it's kind of cool. I don't use it as much as I should. I typically go more for email, but it's something I will use from time to time. All right, gang. Software. Let me go on down here to this part first. You got to have a calculator. This is a no-brainer. It's non-negotiable. If you're financially in a situation right now where you're taking this class but you can't afford a calculator, then you probably need to drop. You need to drop and try to save your money and take it in a term upcoming where you can afford a calculator. Now, options for purchasing a calculator. If you've got Let's say you just hit the lottery and you got $45 million in the bank and you want to pay the most amount of money you can for a calculator, then go to our bookstore. They're going to charge you about $160, $170. But if you're more like me and live in the real world and you just want one for this class, go to Amazon.com. Look for a used calculator. Don't go out and buy the big fancy smancy TI-84 Silver Edition supersonic, operating system. You don't need that. Go buy a used TI-83 for 25 bucks on eBay. But guys, don't put it off. Go ahead and get started on this right now, because we're going to get busy. And whether or not you are prepared with your calculator, we're going to go ahead and leave you behind. So go ahead and get on this. And again, don't procrastinate on this stuff. There's just not time. But Amazon.com, there's one of like the Office Depot or Office Max or something. One of those that's running a special too. I think you can get an 83 for about, I don't know, 85 bucks or something. So, and also you can lease these things. And I'm not really sure how the leasing program works, but I know you take $100 to our secretary of the math department, and then she sends you over to the bursar's office. And but anyway, it all begins with the secretary of the math department, who can explain that better. Now back to software. We decided a few years ago that it was important for students in a statistics class of this nature to understand how to use a statistical software package. Well, I use R, and I want to, I uploaded a video in Blackboard, and I'll show you that in just a second. But I want to just show you briefly how to download R here. It's very, very simple. All right, so what I would do is just go to Google, and in the search, I would just type R, literally just R. And the first thing you'll get is the R project for statistical computing is what you need. So I would click that, and my internet connection is extremely slow here. Well, it's usually not this slow, but it is today. Now, when you go here, I think this first page looks a little bit different than the video I gave on Blackboard. So what you'll want to do is you'll want to go to this portion right here which says to download R. So I want you to click that. Again, either R or my internet connection is absolutely horrible. And it's probably my internet connection. Wow, this is insane. Okay, so scroll all the way down to the bottom under USA, and I want you to come over to the crayon for UCLA, select it. And then, I'll make this larger so it's easy to see. You've got one of three choices. You have Linux, I never can say that, Linux, Mac, or Windows. So I have Mac, so I would click Mac, and I'm not going to do it because I have already have R on my machine, so I don't want to replicate that. So anyway, click that. A couple of students have said they got into a situation where they were asked to enter a password, and if you get in a situation, you've done something wrong. There's no password to get into to download R. So anyway, once you get this, go to the download R video that I uploaded or provided the link to you in week 0 under Blackboard, and we'll be there in just a second, so I'll point that out. And at the end of the video, I show you how we actually do some things. So, all right, so let's get back to the syllabus. So you need to download R. This is not required, but it's highly recommended. And guys, calculator, you've got to have the calculator. And trust me, I'm doing you a favor here. These formulas that we have in statistics get kind of insane sometimes. So by using the calculator, it makes the calculation much easier. So ADA statement, guys, if that pertains to you, send me an email, let me know. I will do everything in my power to make sure that those accommodations are provided to you. Catalog description, I'm not going to read that stuff to you. It just tells you what we're going to do. The GEP requirement, the good thing about this is when you complete, there's a lot of good things about statistics, but one good thing is when you complete the class, you will have fulfilled your quantitative reasoning component of the general education program. Course objectives, this is something I have to do. I have to write out in big old fancy schmancy terminology what you're going to learn. That's going to be kind of a good place to go when you start studying for your final, because it should make common sense to you that if I tell you day one, this is what I'm going to teach you, that day 48 or whatever it may be, when you take your final exam, that's what I'm going to test you on. Now, the textbook. There is not a physical textbook that's required, but what is required is the online course management system. And I think this is by far the most complicated part of getting set up in the class. So what I have done, and I'll tell you what, let me just go ahead and get to Blackboard. So for our class, so go to my SSU. I'm already signed in. Let's go to Blackboard. That must have been the R site because everything else is working pretty good. That was so slow. And I'm just going to take us to our site, 51, section 51. And you'll see that I've got a getting started. If you click this, it just kind of tells you some things. So please read that. But if we go to content, under week 0, let's get started. Now, here's the how to install R video that I uploaded. Video notebook pages. I'll talk about that in just a second. But right now, let's go to getting started with Hawks Learning. So if I click that, there's going to be a file that's going to open up, and it's going to tell you exactly how to get started with Hawks Learning. So important information. My name is Doug Darbro. The section name is the online statistics. So guys, you're going to go to learn.hawkslearning.com and click new user. So this document right here tells you exactly how to either validate the access code that you purchased from the bookstore, or it tells you how to purchase an access code, which by the way is going to be much cheaper and it's all you need. Purchase an access code from them directly. So that's completely up to you. If you're on financial aid, you're more than likely going to have to purchase through the bookstore. And if you purchase here online, you're going to have a credit card. So if all your credit cards are maxed out, then you're not going to be able to sign up and save money. Isn't that kind of weird, the way that's set up? Well, never mind. So, guys, follow this to a T. Pretty soon you'll be enrolled in the course. So I want to show you what your course is going to look like. So it's going to be learn.hawkslearning.com. So what I did is I went in and set up a student account. So if I were taking the class, I would go under that, and I will... Shoot, I forgot my password. I have so many different passwords, it's insane. Okay. So once you're in the right course, you're going to get up and you're going to see that you're Shawnee State University, your instructor, you're in the right place, and you can view the course. And what this will do, it'll have a to-do list. Now, there's nothing to do yet because I haven't uploaded an assignment, but typically back from your dashboard, and I'm going to save my password. I'm going to go back to your dashboard. And there will be down here a link for all assignments that are upcoming and due. It'll even show you a pane of assignments that maybe you haven't already submitted. The way this works is you have a certified. What I'll do is I'll post an assignment, and then I'll probably put up another video on how to navigate Hawks. So I'll tell you what, right now let's keep it simple and not get too crazy. Let's keep it simple and just get you to this point right here, to where you have your Hawks Learning account and you can get into your Hawks Learning course management system. Okay, so if we can accomplish that in this video, I think that's all good. All right. All right, back to our syllabus. So textbook, online course management system. Guys, this is required. I mean, you got to have it. This is where when you come to campus for your exams, you're going to log onto this account. So it is required. Chapters to be covered. What you can see there is we got a lot to learn. On-campus sessions, guys, there are 2 mandatory on-campus sessions. This is required of us because when we set up the course, well, when I set up the course, I didn't make this a 100% online course. I made it an 80% to 100%. So anyway, the technicality of that, we're required to meet on campus twice, and I figured the best thing to do when we come to campus is take our exams. So guys, October 14th, you need to take off work, ask off work a little early, whatever it may be. 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. Are the times that I will be available for you to take your exam. Your exam's not going to take 5 hours. That gives you a window of 5 hours that you can come in and take your exam, which is probably going to take about an hour to 2 hours. So if you go to work at 5, show up at 2. If you get off at 5, you might want to go ahead and say, hey, boss, I need off at 3:30 or 4 on October the 14th so I can go take my statistics exam. Exams must be proctored. And I got kind of very flexible with that this summer. I'm not going to do that in this class. You're required to be here, or you're going to be required to go to a testing center and have to pay to have your test, your exam proctored. Things got pretty insane last time in the summer, and I have far more students in the fall. I'm far busier, and I don't have time to make personal accommodations for 25 students. I just don't. So guys, step up to the plate here. Go ahead and plan it to where October 14th, October 16th, you can come to campus for about 2 hours each. I don't think that's too much to ask. I really don't. Getting help, statistics is hard from time to time. I think I teach it very, very, very well. But there's times that I can go into all the explanations and elaborate things to think about, but still it struggles. You struggle sometimes. So 3 sources for getting help: my office hours, and again, I'm pretty flexible with those. If you say, well, I'd like to meet you on campus, and I'll do my best to accommodate meeting you on campus on your time. If I can't be to campus then we'll set up a Google Hangout session. The Math Lab, which is located in the administration building. Get to know those guys. And my graduate assistants, Melissa and Allison, excellent at providing help in statistics. So guys, calculating your final grade, your first exam is 30%, your second exam is 35%. It is comprehensive, although I know I'll be asked that a zillion times. It will include everything from day 1 to day 48, but it will focus mostly on the latter material, and I'll explain that more as we go along. All right, online assignments, guys. You're going to have an assignment due every Tuesday at 11:45 p.m. on Hawks Learning. And what this entails is you becoming what is called certified on that assignment. And I'll come in and I'll explain this more clearly in an upcoming video, probably posted this week. Because it's going to be better if I have an assignment posted and run through that with you and show you what, how it works. But guys, your first assignment's an easy one. Assignment number 1, worth 100 points, is just get on Blackboard and introduce yourself. And let me show you how that works. It's really simple. Just go to your Blackboard account, go to the discussion, and you can see here I say please introduce yourself to the class, provide comments, hometown, major, 5-year plan, something interesting about yourself. To get credit, you need to post by 11:45 Sunday, August 30th. What I primarily want to do is I want to weed out the people who aren't going to do what I'm going to ask you to do in this thing. So if that's going to be a red flag to me, if you don't watch this first video thoroughly, and can't do something as simple as go on Blackboard, which doesn't require a subscription. You're automatically here, right? If you can't do that, we have no way of me teaching you and you learning statistics via this method. If you can't do something this simple, you just can't. And you might say, well, that's awful harsh. I can't help it. I'd rather be harsh with you now and get you out of this class. This is a very popular class for some reason. I don't know why. But I have a waiting list right now of 7 students. And we have other statistics classes with a capacity of 30. We got 10 people in there. So there's plenty of room in other classes. So, if I see evidence early on that you're just not going to be able to carry out something this simple, then we're not going to be able to do things as it gets more complicated. So this is part of a weeding out process to get people out that can't just aren't willing to watch the videos in entirety. So anyway, gang, hopefully that's not you. So what I would do is I would click Introductions, and I would go up here and do Create Thread. And in subject line, I would just probably type my name. And I would come into the text and I would say, hello. It's Doug Darbrow, and I'm your professor. Now, I'm not going to, I am going to post something here later on, but I want to take some more time to do that. So, guys, if you want to attach a file, post a picture of you. That's kind of cool. It's really kind of cool in this situation because, I don't get to see you guys, except when you come in and take an exam. And so, if there's a picture of you, that's kind of cool too. Or add me on Facebook. That's actually something that I wouldn't be friends with students on Facebook for many years, but I found out it's harmless, and it's actually kind of cool that we can actually see each other. So anyway, once you get written up here what you want to write, just come down, hit submit, and what'll happen, you'll see your thread come up in the introductions. Guys, I'm going to get rid of that. So I'm going to delete that. All right, so guys, do that and you get an easy 100 points. And again, part of that is just to kind of weed out people who aren't willing to do something that simple. Then we've got major problems when it gets more difficult. Guys, assignment number 2 will be posted here in a couple of days. I'll get into that in just a second. It's due September 1st. Your next assignment is September 8th. Your next assignment is Tuesday, September 15th. Your next one is Tuesday, September 22nd. I hope you get my drift here. You will have an assignment due every Tuesday at 11:45 p.m. So don't be calling up or write me an email, Dr. Darbrow, I didn't know we had an assignment due. I'm telling you, you have an assignment due every Tuesday at 11:45 p.m. So just, you got your cell phone, your iPhone, your whatever, put it in your calendar that you've going to have that. All right. Class policies, guys. I don't want to see your cell phones when you're during testing. If I see a cell phone while you're testing, you have had a bad day. Zeros don't average well. So just turn them off. Put them in your purse. Put them in your pocket. Yeah, put them someplace. Get them. Leave them out in the hall. Give me your phone. I won't do anything with it. I'll keep it for you. And when you finish your exam, I'll give it back to you. But you don't have to have you don't get to have your cell phones out during testing. If you miss an exam, documentation will be required for a makeup. So if you write me an email and say, hey, I'm sick, you're going to need to prove it to me. Do you think I've ever had a student lie to me about being sick during testing and miss an exam? I could write a book on that one, guys. If you need special testing accommodations, now, guys, I'm not including ADA. Anything under ADA compliance, that's federal law. If that's the issue, then we're going to work together through the Student Success Center and get your accommodations taken care of. That I promise you. This is completely different. This is a situation where your job requires you to be in Los Angeles, California, on what, October the 14th on the first exam. Well, guys, you need to take your exam. So you need to make some sort of accommodations. And what I'll probably have you do is you'll need to go to a testing center in LA and arrange to take your test. Now, you can do that at 2 o'clock in the morning. Those things are usually open 24 hours. So, but they vary in price. And in LA, it would be pretty expensive, probably around $50. I think in Columbus, they charge you like 15 or something. So, the guys, all exams must be proctored, and the individual proctoring, like on Google Hangout, I'm not going to do that this semester. Got too many students, guys. If I do it for one student, I have to be able to do it for all, and I can't do that. You'll have an assignment posted every week. Assignments are due. We've already gone over that. And assignments will be posted the previous Wednesday by 7 p.m. So essentially, you're going to have 6+ days to submit your assignment on time. Guys, 50% penalty if your assignment isn't posted by the due date. Although you have a lot of flexibility when you can watch videos and do your work, I want to keep you on a schedule because it's not going to work. Statistics is too hard, and there's just too much going on in certain weeks. For me to be out here in week 12 and you be back here in week 4 or 5 still farting around with that stuff. This online delivery isn't created, the way I teach it, isn't created for you to just come up the last 3 weeks and think you can do an entire semester. That's not the way I present my classes. Tentative schedule, you can see there, we got a lot of stuff to learn. I love this stuff. I love this class. I love teaching this class. This is by far my favorite class to teach at Shawnee. Guys, if you'll just do what I ask you to do, you're gonna look up in December and you're gonna have your grade on your transcript, and chances are it's going to be a grade you can live with, and you'll get this behind you and go on with your life, and hopefully develop somewhat of an appreciation for statistics. So that's kind of the goal. Now, one thing I didn't talk about, and I want to talk about this, the video notebook. It's so easy to hide in a class like this, because if you're coming to class every week in a traditionally delivered class like Math1500, I see you. I know if you're coming to class. I know if we're making a connection in class. There's that constant feedback. We don't get that here. So what I want to do to ensure, to motivate that you are watching the videos, 10% of your grade is going to be on this, what I call this video notebook. Now, if you go to Blackboard and go to the content and go to week 0, you are going to see a download right there called Video Notebook Pages. Now, if you download that, what you're going to get is something that looks like this. Now, the name up here, that's not going to be there. That's going to be blank. I just put this information here just to give you an example of what goes there. But I want you to do one of these for each video that you watch. And I'm going to give you a grade on each one of these out of 10 points. Cumulatively, it will come up to represent 10% of your final grade. Twofold here. Number one, are you watching the videos? I want to give you credit if you are. And guys, you have to. Statistics is hard. And, the things you do on Hawks is just going to be part of your exam. These other things that I cover in the videos that aren't necessarily covered on Hawks will be on your exams. So, guys, up here, just summarize what the topic is being covered in the video. This is obvious. Here, you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, major ideas that were covered in the video. And over here, you'll have comments, which usually includes like examples and things that you write out. Down here is a summary. So again, twofold. Prove to me you're watching the videos, but also this gives you a one-page summary. So when it comes time to go study for your midterm and your final, if you've organized these things along the way, it's going to be easy for you to to kind of tap into what's most important and what you should study. So what I would do if I were you is I would download this. I'd go to the library and I would download this and I would make about 25, just print off about 25 of these. Use Shawnee State University's paper. And I would buy one of those plastic binders. I think you can buy those things for like $1. If you need $1, come and see me. I'll give you $1. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know about that. I shouldn't have said that because I'll get bombarded with like 200 students wanting. But guys, you can find $1. I feel pretty confident. I had a student one time that just like this said, "Well, I don't even have $1." I'm like, really? I looked at them, and they had those holes with jeans, or I'm sorry, those jeans with holes. These weren't jeans that had holes in them because they wore out. These were jeans that had holes in them because they paid for those holes at Abercrombie. I had a big iPhone, I think one of the fanciest iPhones out, and they were trying to convince me that they could not afford $1. All right, whatever. I'm just not buying it. So buy one of those. In fact, those kind of binders, they're laying around everywhere. So anyway, guys, what you'll do, that was called a Darbro tangent. And Darbro gets on a lot of tangents, so get used to it. But what you'll do is you'll bring this video in, or I'm sorry, this video notebook in when you take your first exam, and you'll turn it into me. I'll thumb through it and check it, and chances are you've done everything that you should have done, and these things are well done. Now, this is actually called the Cornell note-taking format. So there's actually some theory behind it that it's an excellent way to organize taking notes. So you'll turn them in. I'll thumb through and make sure you've watched all the videos and make sure you know what's the quality of the comments that you've made and the examples. And in essence, it turns out to be about 1/3 of an examination because you know, if you go back to the grading, your first exam is 30%, and this is 10%. So it definitely contributes significantly. Guys, I don't know anything else. I think I'm just about done. This week I'm going to post a video. I think it is without question the most boring video I'll post the entire semester. It's on different types of data classification and things we call populations and samples. Guys, just struggle through it. It's not going to be that exciting, but I think the videos get cooler as we get along the way. So, guys, I think that's it. I think I told you in the introduction in Blackboard, you got to become an email junkie. It's possible that I could send out 4 or 5 emails a week. So you need to get in a situation taking an online course where you check your email far more frequently. Because guys, we got to be able to stay in touch. Otherwise, this process just isn't going to work. It's just not for you, and you should be back taking the traditional class. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not talking down to anyone when I say that. It's just the reality. Not everyone is cut out to take an online course, and so guys, do an honest self-assessment and make sure you think that you can. Do the little things, watch the videos, get your assignments turned in on time, check your email far more regularly than maybe you do currently. But guys, if you do, I think this is going to be a really cool experience and something that you're really, really going to like. So, guys, I am done, I think. So if there's anything else, I'll put it in an upcoming video. So take care.